Switzerland financial independence. Okay, yes, in comparison to Jamaica, there's no comparison.
Just like on YouTube, figure your brain some new food.
Hello people, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time on the channel, a special welcome to you. I ask that you check out the rest of my videos. If you like what you see, give them a thumbs up, leave a comment, but more than anything, I'm asking that you subscribe to the channel. Today's vlog is titled Jamaica, US and the UK could learn a lot from Switzerland. I've chosen those countries because throughout my life, those are the countries that I've actually lived in and spent a significantly amount of time. So I was born in Jamaica. I've had the opportunity to live many years in the United States of America, and likewise I have lived many years in the United Kingdom before moving to Switzerland, where I'm presently at, and I've lived in Switzerland now for almost a decade. So one of the benefits you get of traveling around the world is that you learn other cultures and you learn other ways that countries are managed, and you see the difference between one country versus the next country. So living in Switzerland is a country of 8 million people, approximately 8 million people, in comparison to Jamaica, where I'm from, where it goes back and forth between 2.9 to 3 million people. So it's less than half. So after living in Switzerland for so long, there's a lot of things that I've gathered educational wise. Obviously, I've learned to speak a different language. I've learned to understand a different culture, see how the countries manage. But at the same time, obviously, because Switzerland has been the most impressive country to me. So if you should ask me, I would say Switzerland has been the most successful country that I've ever seen. And when I say success, I know most people mind goes straight to money, but I'm not only talking about money. Obviously, Switzerland is world renowned to be one of the world's wealthiest country. So Switzerland does boast its muscle in being most financially stable country in the world. One of the most financially stable country in the world. I think the next to it, they switch place between first and second, is Luxembourg. But I will get into that in a minute. What I mean by most successful country is the management of the country, is how smooth the country is run. So after thinking about it, I thought, let me do a video just to give some North American viewers some insight on Switzerland, because at the moment the United States of America is headed towards another election, and Jamaica has just completed its general election. So instead of having relays after relays where elections are concerned, I think Jamaican people would like to see not just election, but to see a growth in the country, because I keep an eye on my birthland, Jamaica, and I must be honest and say there's a lot of changes that I've seen in Jamaica. But the sad part of the changes that I've seen in Jamaica is that the more things change, the more things stays the same. So when you get to my age, nearing 50, you are actually qualified to compare then and now. So I can compare the 1980s Jamaica to 2020 Jamaica and say how much has changed or how much has remained the same. So that is my qualification, and for this reason I decided to do this video, because I would like my Jamaican people to get that light bulb set off in their head and say, at least we could adapt that, or we could adapt this, and make Jamaica a better place and give Jamaican people a better opportunity to life. This is all this is about: life, living. We are here, and I think what everybody should make as their personal priority is to have a decent living. So like I say, I see Switzerland as one of the world's most successful country. And I'm going to list 15 reasons that I came up with why I believe that Switzerland is one of the world's most successful countries. And then after listing the 15 points, then I'm going to tackle each point individually. So here it goes. First and foremost, I believe that Switzerland is successful because they are an administrative country. They are 100% into admin, and they are very strict when it comes to admin. Secondly, I believe that Switzerland is successful because of its unique political format. Obviously, you got a left-wing and a right-wing party, but Switzerland, instead of being ran by a president or a prime minister, Switzerland is ran by a federation. So I've always try to explain that to people as saying, just like how you would have a company with a board of chairs, you know, so Switzerland is like, it is ran like a company. So instead of prime minister or president, they have here what they call the Swiss Confederation, which is a bunch of people. Obviously, there's a head of chair, but it is ran by all these people. So no single person has the final say, so to speak. Is just like how a Fortune 500 country would run. And I believe that uniqueness is attributed to the success of Switzerland. I'm not saying other countries should adopt that, but, you know, give it some level of consideration. Number 3 definitely has to do with Switzerland's financial independence. Switzerland is renowned to be financially independent. That means it doesn't have to do any borrowing. Obviously, it does a lot of charity and a lot of lending, but it does not have to do any borrowing. Number 4, I would have to say it is strict immigration management. Switzerland is strict on immigration management, and without a doubt, that is definitely a contribution towards its success. Next on the list is one that I admire more than any other. Switzerland put Swiss nationals first, and I am all for that. I believe that if every country around the world put their nationals first, there would probably be not as much migration. Following that, I would have to say the Swiss policing, the way they police the country, the way they police neighborhoods and citizens, the way they address reports or complaints. I gotta give them that. That is definitely a contribution to being a successful country. Following that, I would have to address crime, because like in every country there are crime, but in Switzerland, compared to the rest of the world, crime is at a appreciative level. I will leave it at that and say it is at appreciative level. And if I'm going to discuss crime, the next topic I have to discuss is lifestyle in Switzerland. After lifestyle in Switzerland, I have to discuss time management, employment versus unemployment, quality of life, health, and more than anything, none of this could actually work without the compliance of the residents, the compliance of the people who live in Switzerland. So, without any further ado, let's get to the point. When I say Switzerland is an administrative strict country, I mean it is an administrative strict country. From my point of view, the number one contribution to its success as a country is because Switzerland does everything by the book. They do not cut corners. I was in Rome once, and a woman, a vendor, asked me and my wife, where are we from? And I said, you want to know where we're born or where we're from? No, she says, where are you from that you came here? I said, oh, we're visiting from Switzerland. And her reaction was like, oh, Switzerland. I like a lot of things about Switzerland, but I couldn't live there because they have too many rules. And she was not lying. Switzerland has a lot of rules. It is very strict, and it is a very administrative country. However, don't let that scare you, because it's not like we're in the military living in Switzerland. It has a lot of rules, and if you're a law-abiding person who like rules, who like to know the do's and don'ts, then Switzerland is a great place to be. Like I was saying, its political format is unique and one to admire. I agree 100% with this political format, because when you have a president or a prime minister in a country like Jamaica, the US, and the UK, I think at the end of the day, all pressures come down to one person. What I admire the most about the Federation in Switzerland is it's multiple minds, it's multiple individuals, it's people with different backgrounds, different experiences, can relate to different matters differently. So how one person would weigh in on a decision oftentimes has a lot to do with his personality, his previous experience, knowledge, and wisdom. But when you have multiple minds that's making a decision, there's a very high chance that you have a decision that satisfies the masses more than disappointing the masses. Switzerland financial independence. Okay, yes, in comparison to Jamaica, there's no comparison. Jamaica does not have the financial independence that Switzerland has. But here's what I'm saying. If Switzerland has 8 million people and Jamaica only has 3 million, and Switzerland is that successful, that much of a beast, of a monster, I truly believe that with the right moves and with the ambition injected properly, with determination, a country that's half the size of a successful country could be just as successful. That could be a whole other vlog, I know, and we could get into it, so I wait to hear the comments about this particular statement that I just made. But that's how I feel. I feel as if the population of Jamaica being less than half of Switzerland, if the government of Jamaica was determined or is determined to make Jamaica a financial independent country with our natural resources that we have. First of all, stop selling out everything that naturally belongs to the land of Jamaica. That's for starters. But like I said, that could be a total different vlog. So let me move on to my next point, which is immigration. Immigration in Switzerland. I point this to the US and the UK more than anywhere else, because that's two countries that I've lived in, and I've seen where immigration, as much as the UK and the US prides themselves on immigration, those are countries that were built by immigrants. At the same time, immigration is also their failure. And when I say that, I mean illegal immigration. When compared to, say, Switzerland has an immigration system that's just out of this world. Its immigration system is impressive, it's unique. And when I say that, it's because Switzerland can account for every single person that goes in or out of the country. So illegal immigration is not a great burden in Switzerland, if a burden at all, because Switzerland, like I say, it's very administrative, so it knows where every single individual is at every minute, every time. It's not one of those countries that you could just come and just disappear on the streets among the other faces. It's almost impossible to happen in Switzerland. So if the US and the UK should adapt that principle, then it would be better. Here's where I'm going with that. If a country, okay, let me put it in layman terms. If a mother is able to account for all of its children, then she knows how many children she has, and she knows how much food to provide to feed all these mouths. But if, say for example, she knows she has 10 children and she buys enough food for 10 children, but there are 5 other children in the house that she's unaware of, these 5 other children have to eat. So what's going to happen is that every time she buys the food is going to deplete faster than she expected for the food to last, because she expects, it's only 10 people eating, so why is the food going so fast? So when a country has a number of immigrants plus its citizens living inside its borders, that country, for example, provide for the number that it has on record. But if there's another 100,000 people in the country that country is unaware of, that country is bound to go down. It's bound to have financial instability. It's bound to have housing crisis. It's bound to have a whole lot of problem because the government cannot account in the first place for how many people is within its borders. So that's where illegal immigration poses a problem, because every illegal immigrant wants to live, they wants to eat, and they wants a roof over their head, and they have to consume as well. So for everything that's already provided, the illegals where the government are not accounting for, they make things unstable. But if everybody becomes legal, if everybody enters or stay within the country under a legal status, the country itself will be more balanced and operate more smoothly, if you get what I mean. If America should put citizens first, whether they're born citizens or naturalized citizens, people would be more patriotic to their flag, people would love their country more, and immigrants would want to be naturalized citizens faster. Switzerland puts Swiss first. It doesn't mean that the other nationalities doesn't matter. It just put Swiss first. So, for example, it provides equal opportunity for all, with the exception of Swiss first. So, immigrants such as myself, I get the same amount of treatment, the same equal treatment that a Swiss would get. But at the same time, let's just use this for example. If they're giving out milk, maybe I know I'm qualified for the milk, but I have to understand that I'm not at home. This is not your country. So I have to make sure that the people who rightfully belong to this country have their milk first. Switzerland, again, is very financially independent and a very wealthy country. So you don't see that. I've never had to wait behind a Swiss person for some milk. I've never had to wait behind a Swiss person for anything, but I'm just saying it has been established that if push should ever come to shove, Swiss first. So I believe that Jamaica, especially Jamaica should put Jamaicans first. I'm not lying. Jamaica is a vacation country as much as it is a country for Jamaican where people live a normal life. And it's all good to welcome foreigners to our sunshine and our beach and our warm culture, all that. But I think Jamaica has gone a little too far where it put foreigners first, always over Jamaican. Jamaicans are treated as second-class citizens in their own country, is what our grandmother in Jamaica would say, them a frightened Friday. Jamaicans are happy-go-lucky, crazy for people with different texture hair, different color skin, different accent. And it's not about welcoming these people to our country. Jamaica, the government and the people tend to put foreigners above its national. Anyway, that in itself could be a whole different vlog. So moving on to my next point. Policing. I'll just merge policing and crime. Policing. Policing in Switzerland is very sufficient. If you see police officers around Switzerland, they carry guns just like how you would see them in the United States carrying guns. However, from my personal experience in Switzerland, police are rapid response. Their crimes are here. Anywhere you have human beings, you will have crime. But when I say crimes are here, it's not on the same level as I would say there's crime in Jamaica, there's crime in the UK, there's crime in the US. It's a different level of crime where you're allowed to live a fret-free, let me call it that, a worry-free life. It's like saying apple in the US and apple in Jamaica. They're both fruits, but when you use the word apple, they're total different things when you look at them. So there are crimes in Switzerland, but not to the degree. If there weren't crimes in Switzerland, then you wouldn't need a police force, and there's a police force here. So I'm not saying it's crime-free, but it's crimes to a level where you, the citizen, can live worry-free, so to speak. Let's just use this for an example. Theft, it's not a big thing here. So in my neighborhood, for example, you would see the little children that would leave their scooters and their bikes all over the playground, and they'll leave it there for a couple of days or a week, and it would pretty much still be there. No one would actually steal it. You don't have to lock your car with a key where I live. You don't have to worry about someone gonna go, oh, did I lock the car? Oh my God. You don't have to lose your mind over that. So that's from my personal experience living in Switzerland. You live worry-free. I went to Jamaica a few years ago, and living in Switzerland so long, I got complacent. I walk into a supermarket with a bag from another store, and I was stopped and said, oh, you got to leave your bag here. And that hit me for a second because it was so different. While in Switzerland, I could walk into a supermarket with a backpack. No one's going to be watching me. No one expects me to actually steal anything. So that's the difference in Switzerland. Lifestyle in Switzerland. This I'm happy to cover. Lifestyle in Switzerland, because lifestyle in Switzerland is a lot different from the UK. It's a lot different from the US, and it's definitely a lot different from Jamaica. So when I'm contacted by anyone from any of these countries, and they say, oh, I would like to come to Switzerland to spend some time, to see. I says, okay, but you have to mentally prepare yourself. Switzerland is a very calm society. They have everything that every society have, clubs and bars and so on. But the vibes, the temperature, it's totally different, so it's not like you're going to come here and you're going to have a ball of a time to the level of the UK or the US or Jamaica. It's just not going to happen, Switzerland, I believe Switzerland is a country with probably the most millionaires in the world. And here's what I admire about rich people in Switzerland. You just couldn't tell that they're rich, while in Jamaica, the US or the UK, I would say Jamaica and the US, you can tell when someone's rich. You can tell by the size house they have. You can tell by the clothes they wear. You can tell by the car they drive or how they travel. And in Switzerland, I don't know, none of that really matters. It's like you could be on the train sitting next to a multimillionaire and you wouldn't know. I guess if you know fashion or know brand, because people do spend expensive clothes, but they don't look like expensive clothes. So you would have to know these unique brands or whatever. Yes, people in Switzerland drive Ferrari and drive Land Rover and so on, but almost anyone can actually afford that in Switzerland. If that's your ambition, you could actually drive a Range Rover if that's what you want, or you could actually get a Lamborghini on credit if that's what you want. But what I'm trying to say here is, if I should wear a pair of Jordans and go downtown, no one would bat an eye. It's not that important. So as much as Europe is a fashion capital, I live in Zurich. Zurich is all about money and fashion. Zurich is all about banks. Bahnhofstrasse is all about brands. But what I'm saying is, let's say, for example, a Chanel bag or a Louis Vuitton purse, if you should sport it downtown, no one really looks, no one really sees you. So it has to be for your own personal gratification and satisfaction, So I admire the fact that Switzerland has taught me that you don't have to wear your wealth on your sleeve. You don't have to wear your wealth, period. If you are financially well off, just enjoy your wealth. Take vacations. Go wherever you want to go. Get whatever you want inside your house. So that's one thing I admire about the Swiss lifestyle. You cannot differentiate someone who just have a couple thousand or a couple of hundreds in their bank versus someone who's sitting on millions. I like that, and that has taught me a lot. Time management. Time management is, I'll just put that in one little nutshell. Time is everything in Switzerland, but if you have a country that is administrative strict, then you have to expect that time is everything. Switzerland is big on time. Here in Zurich, where I live, everything is time. 2 o'clock means 2 o'clock. 3 o'clock means 3 o'clock. Not a minute before, not a minute after. I like that, especially when it comes to public transportation. However, sometimes I would say 2% of the time, we're human. There are human errors. So a train or a bus might be late, but they let you know in advance that's going to late. So time management is everything in Switzerland. Unemployment versus employment. One of the reasons why Switzerland is so successful is because of its unemployment versus employment rate. The last time I checked, I believe that the unemployment rate in Switzerland is about 3%. Unfortunately, those 3% are usually older people or some immigrants. That is the unfortunate part. Just like the crime, I'm not saying Swiss people doesn't commit crime, but from my insight and some personal knowledge that I'm aware of, most crimes that are committed in Switzerland, 90% of the time is by foreigners, and that's very unfortunate. So I'll reserve 10% for Swiss people committing crime. So where was I? Oh, unemployment versus employment. So the scale is not even on the labor market, but one can get work if they really want to work. If you don't want to work in a particular field, that might be your biggest problem. But I will go out on a limb and say jobs can be attained. Okay, next is quality of life. Switzerland boasts the world's best quality of life. Quality of life is a wide spectrum that involves income, health, affordability, and housing, how you live. I think in most cases in Switzerland, income is designed that 1/3 of your income is for savings, 1/3 of your income is for your living expenses, and the next 1/3, I believe, is for food. If I remember right. But that's the design. The last time I researched it to see how the best quality of life and how it was designed for people to benefit who live in Switzerland. Next, I'm going to cover health. Health is a big thing in Switzerland. Your surrounding is a big thing in Switzerland. The air that you breathe is a big thing in Switzerland. The water that comes through your faucet, the water that you drink, is a big thing in Switzerland. So Switzerland does boast on its clean air and its natural waters and so on and so forth. But the backdrop of that is that in Switzerland, health insurance is mandatory. Everyone that lives in Switzerland has to have health insurance. And the last topic that I'm going to cover, the last topic that I'm going to cover is compliance of the residents, because none of this that I just named would be possible without the compliance of the resident. So I must say, there's no country without the residents. So the country is the land, but you need the people for it to be an active country. So the people, it relies on the people. So I'm pointing to Jamaicans, Americans, and British. It relies on the compliance of the people. None of it would work without the compliance of the people. So people have to abide by the rules. People have to appreciate the rules. The government have to also respect the people's point of view to assess a particular law or a particular rule. And then once it's established or once it's assessed, people have to abide by the rule. And then everything could run smooth. I just thought, let me share this because I'm overly impressed with where I live in Switzerland. And I would like to share the pointers with places that I have a dear attachment to, such as Jamaica. The problem I find with Jamaica is Jamaica has always wanted to be too much like the United States of America. In my opinion, they have a tunnel vision. And when you think about foreign, Jamaicans only think about the US, Canada, and the UK. For example, I've lived here in Switzerland for almost 10 years. I have met one other Jamaican that I know live in Switzerland. There's not a lot of Jamaicans there, but I just put that out there for you to get a perspective of living in Switzerland as a Jamaican. I've only known one other Jamaican that truly live here, is a resident of Switzerland. So that's how few of us are here, and that is how much of an allowance to learn something new is being given to live here in Switzerland. Anyway, people, this one seemed like it's a long vlog. Don't know how long it's going to be, but let me know what you think of this one. As you know, on this channel, I accept agreement, disagreement, thumbs up and thumbs down, because at the end of the day, people, each one teach one. You've reached the end of my video, and that in itself is a support that I truly appreciate. And while I'm at it, I will take this time out to let you guys know other ways that you can support my channel. The first and simplest way that you can support my channel is by giving this video a thumbs up. And the second and most important way that you can support this channel is by hitting that subscribe button and subscribe to my channel and follow me through my YouTube journey. Other ways that you can support my channel is by going to my Teespring online store and buying some of my merch. And another way that you guys can also support this channel is by joining me in Patreon to give me a contribution to support what I do on YouTube and what I do to entertain you guys. Once again, I want to thank you guys for your continuous support and ask that you join me, Ian T. Sebast, on YouTube and see where my journey takes me. Until next time, people, peace.